Albert Moreno.
Todd Miller.
And Marge Kurlick is absent, and there is a quorum. And it is an excused absence. Introduction of staff.
Stacey Dodge.
Michelle Key.
Kathy Nasralli.
Bobby Enos.
Public comment is a right granted to the public. It is reserved for items that are not listed on the agenda, but under this board's jurisdiction. Please be informed that public participation under public comment will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. In accordance with state law, the board will not comment or otherwise consider such public comment item for business until and unless such item has been properly agendized at a future meeting. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak?
Good afternoon. My name is Elaine Hegel, and I am the Secretary of the Junior Livestock Auction Committee Board and your Small Livestock Clerk. I am pleased to report to the Fair Board that the Auction Committee put on another very successful auction this year. This is thanks to the very enthusiastic and hardworking exhibitors, the amazing generosity of our community, and the determination and dedication of the Auction Committee volunteers. Thank you to those on the Mother Lode Fair Board who supported the purchase of an animal from the Small Livestock Association. Our committee met this week for our post-fair debrief, and the auction report was all good. Food was excellent. Thank you to Ag Credit for their continued sponsorship of the reception, and the McEwens for their great cooking. We will all be meeting again soon to begin our planning for next year's auction. As your Small Livestock Clerk, I wanted to commend and thank all the local businesses that donate to the fair to make our livestock shows and barn areas so nice. This includes, but is not limited to, the businesses and individuals that donate the shavings, chips, trucking, and our show sponsors. All of these donations help ensure that these shows and the livestock exhibits will continue to thrive for many more years to come. As a member of this community, I am a former exhibitor parent, a former livestock project leader, and I want to personally thank the board members who were present during the week and in some way supported this year's livestock exhibitors: Missy Marino, Marge Curley, Marin Paris, Mickey Rucker, and Albert Barrows. Thank you. I hope our exhibitors impressed you with their projects, their knowledge, and their care of their livestock program in the barn area. These kids are our community's future, and supporting children in emotionally healthy endeavors of any kind in supporting a lifelong community well. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Peter Cholito, and my wife and I have been attending as visitors and exhibitors for the last 20 years plus. So from that perspective, I have some comments to make, and I hope my voice carries through. First, there were flyers available for the events and times, but posting a board prominently just past the Creekside building with the day's events for all visitors to see and take note of may be quite effective. I believe that this has been done several years ago. 2, display the jams and jellies and baked goods in a more pleasant way. This year, they were all crammed in a small place, badly illuminated, and with the farthest one in the background not readable what they were or who had entered them. Lighting in general in the Sierra building is less than adequate, which may be caused by the quilts hanging from the ceiling and impairing the illumination of other exhibits. Proposed solution: for the canned fruit and vegetables, use of display cases the Mother Lode Fair had used in past years, with backlit glass cans. displayed quilts on A-frames for closer viewing. There was much space available for this in the Manzanita building. 3. I was not aware of publicity for anyone entering items in the fair. Suggestion: now is the time to talk about entries for next year's fair, to give new participants time to prepare. Refer to the rules book availability. 4. Maybe my age and eyesight is taking its toll, as I did not see any adult woodworking or metalworking entries. I'm certain that there are many retired folks tinkering with those crafts, and more targeted publicity could only help this matter. Solution: a sit-down with the Union Democrat publisher and the radio station manager could possibly help in this matter. 5. We had purchased advance tickets, and when we arrived at the fair on Saturday, the ticket taker mentioned to me that if I was a veteran, the admission would be free. I could not find any advertising in the local paper or radio to this service by the Mother Lode Fair. I'm certain that some veterans would and could have taken advantage of this offer. In my case, it would not have mattered, as I can afford the admission cost charged. Suggestion: if you want to acknowledge the service of and for a veteran, do it right and give it adequate publicity. 6th and final: this year, we did not notice a within the fair shuttle to take fair visitors from the front to the livestock area. The Mother Lode Fair did have in the past a trolley or tractor and trailer for such transportation service. Older visitors may take advantage of the shuttle instead of taking the long walk from the main area, especially on warm and hot days. If the shuttle indeed was offered, it was not prominently advertised. And let me tell you, our experience this year, as in the past, was that the 4-H and the FFA student cherished to be talked to and to be asked questions. The more visitors, the more conversations. To give more fair visitors the opportunity for this service, the better for our young exhibitors. And to show you what we really chuckled, you can keep this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Shirley Sarno, and I'm the Executive Director for the Sonora Chamber of Commerce, and this is Donna Williams, who is also a board member. I wanted to just take this opportunity to thank the Board of Directors of the Mother Lode Fairgrounds for granting or allowing the Sonora Chamber to once again manage and operate the beer and wine concession for the 2016 County Fair. I'd also like to extend great thanks to Stacy Dodge, Michelle, Kathy, Dennis, and all the maintenance people that helped to facilitate making it always easier to getting the beer trucks in, the contracts, and everything else. We feel that the beer concession this year was probably the most successful that we had ever experienced, and the Sonora Chamber was able to write the biggest check that we have ever written in the history of the Sonora Chamber of Commerce, which was $15,985.06. So we thank you very much, and we hope that this was a great co-op as far as fundraising for the Chamber and for the Mother Lode Fairgrounds. So we are very proud to be able to give this check to the fairgrounds. So thank you.
Thank you. Promptly let me thank.
Hi, this was my 6th year as a vendor at the fair, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the financials of how that all came out. But I have to say, hats off to the new board members. I was really paying attention. I pretty much pay attention all the time anyway, but this year I was really paying attention to see what kind of ambassadorship we would have from the board members. Albert was all over the place, talking to everybody. Mickey was there talking to folks. They were the only two. I take that back. There were 2 other board members who walked by looking at the ground. Didn't even make eye contact. Place for improvement. I have some other ideas, but I'm not going to suck up time tonight. I'll be inviting myself, excuse me, to that committee meeting that talks about events and what have you. So anyway, thank you. Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Yay!
Good evening, my name is Rachel Castonia, and I just wanted to also say thank you so much for the fair. We had board members that did come down. I represent the livestock area and the FFA advisor at Somerville High School. And it was so nice to see new board members. We had a board member at our awards banquet, which was awesome. So we really appreciated that. We really appreciated the fair. What happened down at the livestock area was amazing, with raising over $250,000 for our students. Seeing them getting scholarship and awards was just a wonderful finale. But on the same token, I am also saddened, and on the same token, I'm also wondering. I'm so glad to see that on the agenda tonight was talking about an interim director. I'm very saddened that we are at this point that we have to say goodbye to Stacy, and from all the things that we have that has gone on this year with two of our board members, and it still saddens me. The interim director might not even been on this agenda. I'm very happy to see that it's on the agenda tonight, that we have some direction, possibly. I'm looking forward to hearing that discussion tonight, because the fair and agriculture and what our community has done with this fairgrounds over the years is very, very important and very dear to my heart as a 9-year-old 4-H'er that got me where I am today, to my daughter that's in the back who is starting her year as a 9-year-old, and without a director, with all this upheaval of this year, the continuity, it could have been there. We could be coming into this, and I could be coming in here tonight just saying, wow, what a wonderful year. We're so excited for next year. And now, tonight, we're wondering, what is that? There's been talk about shutting the fair down for 6 months. Would we ever come back from that? Shutting the fair down for 6 months? In my heart of hearts, if there is something else that we can do to this fairground to make it go, great. It seems to me that for the last 1.5 years, there's been a different agenda by 2 other people, and they have done their best. And tonight, we see that. We see that their best was asking a wonderful fair director to, you know what, hit her so many times that she no longer can be here. And if you have a different agenda for this fairgrounds, great, share with us. We would like to hear what that could be. But I am sorry, when we hear what happened publicly in this forum and in the office, I don't know if I could even stand behind whatever that agenda is for the fairground because of the lack of integrity. And I know that we're beating a dead horse here, but we have to hold our representatives accountable. And so we're losing an amazing director who was pro-agriculture, pro my kids. She would have been pro my little daughter right there. And now we're in this upheaval of what do we do? What does the fair look like from going forward? And we don't know. What we do know is we have 2 board members that I question where they're taking this fairground. I question their integrity, and I've done that all year because we need a board that is pro-agriculture. Our 2 major events here are agriculture events. We need a board where we are not getting stopped all the time. And I am so sorry that new board members have had to come into this. And I appreciate you stepping up to the plate. And I appreciate what's going to come in the future. But please, board members that are here, reassure me, reassure my 9-year-old daughter, and the rest of the public here that is wondering, what does the future hold? Because it's about our kids, it's about agriculture, it's about saving this fairgrounds, and upholding the traditions and values that started this fair long before any of us were here in this room. Stacy, thank you so much. Michelle.
That is positive passion. My name is Ronnie Hamilton, I'm from Quality, and I too want to thank those board members who participated in judging the kids at the fair, being at our awards ceremony in the livestock area on Sunday afternoon. You got to see the kids reap awards for a year's worth of hard work, and I hope you were just as impressed as we were. That would not have happened without your help, Missy, without your determination, and most of all, without the hard work of the fair staff, not only Stacy and Michelle, but Dennis and all his crew behind me. I too am passionate about what is happening with the fair. You'll find that those of us who are the most passionate are that way because we have children in the program, and the children in the program are the future of Tuolumne County, and they are being robbed. If you were there Sunday afternoon when Stacy was introduced as the fair manager to the kids, without prompting, those kids rose to their feet and applauded her for all of her hard work. Like Stacy, I was born and raised in Tuolumne County. We spent our childhood sitting on the curb and watching the Motherlode Parade pass by, and then we would come to the fairgrounds to the rodeo. Roller skating was here at the fairgrounds, and summer afternoons were always better doing the hokey pokey in the fair mirror building with your friends while trying not to fall off skates. Soon it was fair time, and before we were in 4-H, we would attend to the fair to look at pictures, eat corn dogs, and watch the derby. I remember the years when we could not afford to go, so we'd sit in the car across the way at the gas station and watch the fireworks show from afar. After I turned 9, my parents firmly planted me in the 4-H program in the livestock area, and that is where I grew up. Soon it was Friday night football games, graduation, and the sober grad party, which of course was held here at the fairgrounds, as were weddings of classmates, Stacy graduating in 82, yes, I'm going to age you tonight, and I in 84. Why does all this matter? Because our world of events always involved the fairgrounds. It is where our memories were made, and for those of us who are fortunate to be raised here, and those who were fortunate not, we were raised in small town USA, and we were privileged because of it. We planted our roots so deep that we are still working on ideas, dreams, and projects that are personal to us to make a better community for these kids. This brings me to my concern. Last month, I watched as the auditor gave the office staff a glowing review. Instead of a positive response and questions, he found himself having to defend himself. When Stacy announced her resignation to the board leadership never scheduled a meeting to try and find a common ground. Instead, they just quietly sat passive, being an inept board. It is sad to see that the troubles affecting large town USA are now affecting small town USA. The problems of no communication and no kind spirit of doing what is best for the community. If Stacy leaves here tonight, she does so without the board trying to work it out. We all will lose. The board loses a CEO that is the face of Tuolumne County. The fair loses years of passion, and the kids lose a leader whose vision has always been what's best for the kids. It is sad to me that arrogance has exceeded intelligence in this matter and is standing in the way of progress. This board, or should I say members of it, are ruining a program because members have failed to listen, have hidden agendas, and they have forgotten about what is important, the community. At the fair, we come in unity. Stacy, if you leave here tonight, I want you to know that any project I ever work on, I want you by my side because you, young lady, are a class act and do not deserve the crap that you've been shoveled out. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sue Moore, and I'm the president of the Small Livestock Association. Last month, as I said, we assist with the small livestock shows, and we also put on the small livestock auction that's on Sunday afternoon at the fair. We saw an increase in the number of goats. We had a huge barn full of goats this year, and market chickens primarily due to an increase in the number of FFA exhibitors, so thank you to FFA for that. I'd like to thank Delane Hegel, who's our small livestock clerk, Kayla Hembold, who input all the computer data, and Shelley Trulock, the livestock superintendent, plus the fair maintenance staff for all the work that they did during the fair to make the small livestock area really shine. Missy Marino came and helped with a small livestock auction on Sunday, so we really appreciate that. We hold 2 auctions on Sunday afternoons, and both of them were successful. The small livestock auction, the first one, had 58 lots and a total sales of $36,725. So that's a record for small livestock. Thank you to the Mother Lode Fair Board of Directors for purchasing a turkey for $500. I think we have Marge to thank for spearheading that. And then that was donated back to the benefit auction. In the benefit auction, there were 23 lots for a total of $9,975. The next meeting of the Small Livestock Association is on August 22nd, where we'll talk about our participation in the fair and also possible plans for what we should do with that money. And one of the proposals is to slowly, over the next few years, buy siding to put on that rabbit and poultry barn because you can see daylight under it. There was a turkey that lost its leg band and it fell in the hole, and the exhibitor had to go outside to retrieve it, to bring it back in to put it on the turkey. So we will work on getting some proposals together with some amounts, what it might cost, and then you can let me know who we should talk to about how to make that happen. The money that is received during the small livestock benefit auction, we put back into the small livestock shows at the fair, as well as we give a couple of high school scholarships to 4-H, FFA, and small livestock exhibitors. But mainly it goes back into what happens at the fair. I'd like to thank Stacy for the time that she's been here as fair manager, because I found that she listens and she solves problems, and I think that's a rarity among administrators nowadays. She understands and supports our 4-H and FFA exhibitors and the junior livestock program here. She's made an impact on us and on the Mother Lode Fair. I'm really sorry that she's leaving. I've been a volunteer with the junior livestock programs here at the fair for 30 years, and I know how important the manager is as the visible person within the community, and how important it is for the community to have that person, the fair manager, be someone who works well within the community. I hope that the next fair manager that's hired by the fair board is someone that we also can work well with, who listens and will work cooperatively with us to keep the momentum going that we have for the junior livestock programs. I look forward to a continuation of the success of our junior livestock programs, and I thank you as a fair board and the staff here for helping to make that possible.
I'm also going to commend the new directors, Mickey and Albert. Man, what a great, super much needed shot of energy. That was wonderful. I saw you guys working like crazy down there. I also saw Missy working like crazy. I also saw Maren working like crazy. I know Marge worked like crazy. Dan, I did see you walking around, and I'm sure you were doing plenty as well. So thank you very much. That is certainly some positiveness, if that's such a word, in this direction. Stacy's been a part of the Mother Lode Fairgrounds for close to 20 years as both a director and as a CEO. And with the possible exception of Director Kurlick, there's no one on this board that has as much experience and knowledge with regard to the fairgrounds as Stacy. So now she's resigned. Resigned because she is rightfully fed up with the personal agendas of board members Jan Costa and Peggy Lee, rightfully fed up, sorry Dan, with the lack of leadership from the board president, and rightfully fed up with the lack of action on these problems from the state. She's poured her heart and soul into the Mother Lode Fairgrounds. As has been stated many times, she didn't take this job for the money or for the fun of it. She took it because she believed she could make things happen and make this place viable again. If you look at the success of the last two past fairs, if you you look at the dramatic increase in RV revenue, if you look at the level and the number of sponsorships that she alone has brought in, it's obvious that she's succeeded. And she's done this while holding expenses that were already cut to the bone in check. She's also done this under a constant barrage of criticism and attempts to derail her and the fairgrounds from directors Cost and Lee. By any objective measure, she's put these fairgrounds on the right track, and I defy anyone, especially you two, to offer anything objective that says otherwise. Instead of criticizing and harassing her, you should be commending her. Yes, I am Stacy's husband, but I'm also a member of this community, and like just about everyone here, I care about this community resource. I was in 4-H, I sold several animals in the livestock auction, and I've attended many outstanding events here over the years. To see what is happening here as a result of the sheer arrogance and incompetence of two directors is terribly discouraging. Jan, you slandered my wife on several occasions, including telling the Amador County Fair Manager that she is a liar. I find that very ironic, since you, Jan, stated a couple of meetings ago to this very audience that you were not fired from Chicken Ranch Casino. Now, I never said you were fired, but I do know the person who was in charge of those things while you were there. He told me directly that he let you go and that he immediately filled your position with someone else. So if you want to tell this audience that you were not fired, then so be it. But as I said, I find it very ironic that you called my wife a liar. She's not. Peggy, you're intent on trying to convince everyone here that you're an accounting expert. I find this very ironic as well, since it's been well documented that you were indeed fired by Area 12 Agency on Aging, primarily for various alleged questionable financial practices. Now, I've read your Finance Committee reports, and I sat at last week's Finance Committee meeting and watched you argue with a certified public accountant about some of the fair's accounting practices. And all I can say is that your understanding of accounting can only be described as delusional. You don't have a degree in accounting, you don't have any professional designation, and I seriously doubt you've had any formal training in accounting whatsoever. The fairgrounds has now had 2 independent CPAs review or audit the fair's cash management practices and bank reconciliations, and they have found no exceptions. Indeed, the most recent auditor stated that the fair's cash handling practices were the best he had ever seen. So again, Stacy, as well as Michelle and Kathy, should be commended rather than criticized. To the rest of the board, please do not let these 2 directors continue to derail the fairgrounds. Please don't be afraid to challenge these 2 directors when they paint a sky is falling scenario at every turn. Challenge them to explain the benefit or the risk to the fairgrounds. Challenge them to explain what they themselves are doing to move the fairgrounds forward. If they cannot or will not respond to that challenge, then simply shut them out. Thank you.
I'm Lisa Morales, and I was in charge of exhibits, and I'm the president of the Sierra Quilt. As I reflect upon the 2016 Lode Fair, I look at its future. I challenge each of you board members to think about what you have done in the last year for the fair. Did you promote? Did you encourage growth? Did you sustain the fairgrounds for the future of Tuolumne County? What did you do to help the fairgrounds? Did you bring any revenue in to help keep the doors open? What did you do to make the public want to come to the fair? What did you help with in any way as improvements of the grounds? What did you help with positive press? Did you help? Did you come to the fair to cause more anger, or did you come to help? Can I assure you that Stacy Dodge, the CEO, has never left her dedication or stopped being dedicated to the fair all the way through. She oversaw the donation of the paving for the main area and the gates. She also saw the donation of the metal that put the gate together, the fencing area. The livestock area was cleaned up because it is now paved in many areas, had pine shavings, and that was procured, and the trucking that was procured as a donation because of her contacts and connections. As you look back on the fair, what did you do to help the fair as board members? Now, I would encourage you to not accept her resignation. I urge you to give her a month off while allowing you that you are not, that you do not have the fair's best interest at heart, I think that you should find a place where you could direct your negative energy somewhere else. And at that time, offer her a permanent position. Thank you.
My name is Michelle Grawick, and this is my first meeting. And my intent for tonight was just to come and express my appreciation and thank you to the board and to all of those, the teachers, the volunteers, and everybody who's put their time and energy into the fair. And I mostly spent a lot of time in the livestock arena. I am part of Somerville FFA, and I have a son. This is his second year, and my daughter participated a couple years as well. So it's my overall third year. And I was talking to Mrs. Custonia just about how wonderful I just think this whole program is. And so I really feel like tonight is really important to voice my appreciation for a couple of reasons. One is just to say thank you. And two is to voice my opinion of what a value program this is. I am a farmer's daughter. I was part of 4-H. I was part of FFA at Houston High. And it just is really something that I see working with these FFA kids now, that it's just really, as we all know that are in this room, because you feel the passion, you feel the enthusiasm and the excitement in regards to its future. And I have had a positive experience over the last 3 years and have learned so much. And just really, I've come today out of curiosity, and then also to be able to see what I can do to help and to be able to move forward in a positive, directed way, because I just feel like it would be really sad for this program to go away. I see so many of these kids who really don't fit into the regular arena of high school find themselves with FFA, find themselves with 4-H, but also just the connection with the animals as well. So we all know the benefits of the program. Basically, thank you. It's just that I don't know all the inner workings. I'm really learning who's who and what's what in this arena for this county. And I'm just here an enthusiastic parent and supporter. So thank you all, and I just hope that you can continue this kind of opportunity for our youth, and we can work together collaboratively. So thank you.
Are there any other members of the audience that would like to make a comment? Okay, hearing none, we will continue. Correspondence. We have none. Okay. Consent calendar. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered by the Board of Directors to be routine and will be enacted in one motion by category in the order listed below. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time of the Board of Directors votes on the motion, unless a member of the board, staff, or public requests specific items to be discussed separated and or removed from this section. The items are approval of minutes from June 28, 2016 regular board meeting, monthly bills, receipts June 2016, monthly contract report June 2016. Is there a motion to approve these, or does any member of the board want to remove it?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 28th, the monthly bills from June of 16, and the receipts, and the monthly contract report from June 2016.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the minutes from June 2016, monthly bills, receipts June 2016, and monthly contract report June 16. We will Now vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All members voted yes. Committee reports. Finance Committee. Who's going to bring it up? Well, I don't know if Albert wants to. He's really not on the, well, he will be, believe me.
That's okay.
But any comments?
We're going to meet on August 11th at 5:30 in the fair office to go over the general ledger. The next meeting for the finance committee will be an hour before the fair board meeting every month.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
That was at 4. Was that 4? Or do you want it 4:30?
Let's try 4:30, an hour.
An hour before the fair board meeting every month. And we didn't have final figures to review all of the general ledgers and the statement of operations for the month. But we'll be meeting on August 11th.
Okay, do you want to say anything about the audit?
We met with the auditor. He discussed I don't have it with me, he discussed the junior livestock auction. As you know, the audit was for 2014. That's before any of us were here, before Stacy was here, before any of the board members were here. It was for 2014. And he balanced the junior livestock auction, and he said that there were several, he went into several areas where he had to make adjustments. I don't have the adjustments with me, but he and Stacy went down to the bank and got the records for 2014, so they were able to balance that. He's now working on 2015's review. The other thing that was brought up was the equipment that was purchased by the fair 2014 and probably before, so now we have to go back and mark everything. It hasn't been marked. So everything that was purchased with funds has to have a state sticker on it to identify the equipment, when it was purchased, how much, etc. Those are the two areas that he was concerned about for 2014. He's now reviewing 2015. And 2015, I think Stacy was hired as a manager in July or August, so he'll be doing a review of 2015. So the 2014 audit is complete.
I'd like to clarify that Stacy was a director during that time, so she was here and was part of it.
Well, she wasn't the
She wasn't the CEO at that time.
Yes. Okay.
We can clarify that. Stacy, when were you hired as CEO?
August of 14.
Thank you. So she was the CEO during part of 14, not 2015.
Yeah.
Totally out of touch.
Yeah, I think Donna was here, but wasn't she doing the books and stuff until like November?
August.
Okay.
October.
It's not an agenda item, but for future agenda items, next meeting, we will approve the audit report and accept it.
Dan, I hate to address this to you, but would you please speak up? There's someone out here that cannot hear what you're saying.
Exhibits and entertainment.
Exhibits and entertainment met this morning. Myself, Mickey Ricker, Alba Moreno, Stacy, and guest Carol Dowd. We did a review of the fair. Obviously, it was we went 2 hours, and it still wasn't an in-depth review. But I'll go over really quickly some of the things we talked about. We discussed sponsorships. Sponsorships ended up down about $3,000 this year from the previous year. And we discussed the past position of a marketing director and a possible position of a commission sponsorship obtainer. So somebody who would only work consultant
we would only work on a commission on new sponsorships they brought in. We discussed exhibits and all agreed on the issues of lighting in the Sierra building. But we're, discussed how pleased we were with the general appearance of Sierra building and the great work of Lisa Morales and her whole crew. We talked, under buildings, talked about the commercial space revenue was up approximately $8,000, which is awesome, and a lot of that credit goes to Kathy. One of the issues that Albert and Mickey had heard from vendors in the Mirror building was that they would like some sort of gate blocking the driveway, so the fairgoers needed to go through the Mirror building to enter the fair, just to drive traffic through the Mirror building. So that'll be something we'll look at in the future. We talked just briefly about the layout of the fair, some of the challenges and things that we can do better in regards to the placement of the stage and the food vendors, making the stage and the picnic areas more accessible. So that'll be something we'll be looking at next year. The Friday night country concert was not a success, so we will not be repeating that. And we talked about other future arena events for Friday night. Friday night's typically always been a challenging night for the arena events, but there is interest in some type of rodeo type event, bull riding, something like that, and we just were discussing balancing budget and cost on those versus what we think we can bring in. We also discussed rethinking the Manzanita building that didn't quite live up to its potential this year, and then fixing the entrance to the livestock, drawing people down to livestock. Contests, we started several new contests this year, and to kind of mixed, we had interest in the people who did them, loved them, but we didn't have as much entries as we would have liked, and so we discussed that and really discussed that some of this is going to be developing new traditions, or a lot of it is we're bringing back old traditions, so people need to know that we're doing them and then to spread the word, and so I think we're going to stay the course on that. I think the Voice of the Mother Lode was great, and hopefully as that continues we'll have more interest. We discussed concessions, the alcohol sales, and the nearly $16,000 check that we received from the chamber. Food concessions brought in approximately $12,700. So it was discussed that what the exhibit committee would like to do is take those areas and we discussed them all at each meeting, but to take one area per meeting and really dive into it. So let's say exhibits, and we'll take all the feedback that we got on exhibits, the people who worked in that area, get all their feedback, how we can improve it, and really dedicate a meeting to each item. And so we'll be doing that throughout the year. That'll be posted on our agenda. So if there's a particular area of interest, like entertainment or exhibits that like entertainment, we'll ask Ryan if he can come and share suggestions, and then the community will also be welcome. So you'll kind of know the meeting that we're really going to be diving deeper into that topic, and that's it.
When is the next meeting?
This meeting was just changed because of scheduling conflict, so it's at 10 o'clock on the Wednesday prior to the board meetings. I don't have that date right in front of me, but that's when we typically will stay to our normal schedule.
And contrary to attendance, the band was wonderful to listen to.
The bands were great. That was one of the things I missed. That the Sonora stage is the local stage is the smaller stage, and I think that we really were happy with that.
I'm talking about your arena event.
It was great.
I think the problem was you could hear it anywhere in the fairgrounds, so no one went in, but it was very enjoyable music for Friday night.
Stacy and I got to take some pictures with Jackson Mickelson, and they were really great. But it was disappointing, not only just, you know, revenue-wise, but just in when you bring bands here and then you put them up to an empty audience, it's a little embarrassing. So, you know, we knew, I had stated it in several meetings that we were kind of going out on a, you know, just trying to see if there was something that would bring in people in the arena that was a non-motorized event, and we learned that no, it's not a country concert, so.
Okay, buildings and grounds. Actually, we did look at the Sierra building, and we know that lighting is terrible. That is going to be our first priority to get that lighting changed. We have some possible sponsors, I'll say, for that lighting, and so by the time next fair comes around, it will be changed one way or another. I thought that the building looked good. As Peter pointed out, there are some things that could be improved, and I'm sure that the building director will take those under advisement if she does it again next year. One item that has come up is we applied for a grant for money to make improvements here through the state deferred maintenance money. We got $18,000, almost $19,000, and it had to go to backflow pre-bidders. I am talking to CDFA. I have to call, make a call tomorrow, and I'm not sure that it's going to be successful about us using that for anything else, because we're afraid that if we put those backflow preventers into our existing pipe system, we're going to create all kinds of problems. It's cast iron pipe, drill into it, cut into it, who knows what's going to happen. We don't know how fragile that is. As Dennis can attest to, he's fixed many leaks on that pipe. So I'm not sure that it's going to be successful, but I hope something can be done about it. I am working on the 5-year plan. Albert is going to join the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and also exhibits, right? Policies and procedures. Oh, policy, I'm sorry, policies and procedures. And I'm also going to have Mickey join the Buildings and Grounds and the entertainment. Okay. Let's see, what else did I want to bring up? Well, the biggest thing is the 5-year plan, and so we're going to get that in place and hopefully figure out some way of starting to do some of those items. Okay, that's my report. Livestock Committee. Oh, I'm sorry. Bylaws, policies, and procedure.
Well, we presented the travel and reimbursement policies last meeting, and board members asked for an extra month to look it over. And so tonight we need to discuss it, decide if that's what we're going to vote on.
I looked it over, and I have just like a couple little tiny grammar things, and then the only thing that I noticed was on the final page, certificate of travel expenses. It says the amounts claimed. Oh, that's a spelling issue. and incurred on official university business. I assume that should be changed to fair business. But that's the only substantive, everything else is just.
Okay, and apparently we haven't had any public comment on it.
We haven't been posted, we haven't been posted.
Yeah, it was posted. Yeah.
Yeah, it was posted.
We're ready to vote on
It's been
it. We
posted.
just postponed it, so it could be looked over another day.
Okay. I believe that with those minor changes, we can go ahead and, if there's any other board discussion, we'll take them. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the travel and reimbursement policy for this board.
You can do that without public notification of it?
It's been posted. It's been posted for 30 days plus. And at the last meeting, it was talked about that it was posted.
Dan, does it have to be an action item? Does it have to be an action item?
So any item on here we could vote on. Okay. So I hear a motion.
I'll second.
I hear a second. Any other discussion? Okay, we will vote.
Yes.
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 Okay. All present voted affirmative. Okay. Any other items?
What we're working on now is emergency procedures policy. Trying to update that for our next meeting.
Would you like to let the public know what that, just a brief description of what that will contain?
It's going to contain procedures for any emergency that happens here at the fairgrounds. If there's a disaster and we have to be used as a disaster center, what the procedures will be, who does what, who needs to be contacted.
Okay. And once that is completed, it will be posted also for 30 days after the board looks at it, makes their comments. Okay, now livestock committee.
So as you've heard, we had a great time at the fair this year in the livestock area. The livestock auction committee, we met on the 25th, and it was a little bit of a small group. After fair, people kind of scatter a little bit, but everyone just wanted to get together and go over the things that were fresh in their mind about what was good, what needed some improvement. Prices were good for swine and sheep, a little low on the beef, so we're trying to figure out how we can get the crowd energized when it comes to paying the big bucks for those nice big steers. So there were a little bit of ideas bandied around for that. The auction Saturday night brought in $253,770.60. And it was a really good night. And you've heard the small livestock auction brought in $36,725. We did talk about some changes for next year, some positive things that we want to do to make everybody's life a little easier. You know, everywhere on the fairgrounds during fair time, it gets hectic. Everyone gets a little tired. And so sometimes you go, well, who's supposed to take care of that? So that's something that the Livestock Auction Committee wants to address. They want to get everyone together and talk about, okay, let's make sure that we have everything lined out, who's supposed to be doing what, and we want to put it in writing so that somebody new coming in looks at it and says, oh, that's my job. Or, okay, I'm not supposed to be in that area. We just want to make some positive steps in that direction. Also, some recommendations for the premium book, making the premium book easier for all exhibitors to understand exactly what's going on, where they need to be, or who to go to for help. Just want to clarify a few things. There were a lot of great suggestions at our meeting, And so we don't want to let that momentum go. We're going to meet September 26th here at 5:30, and that way we're going to really start breaking all of that down. It was really a positive, very positive meeting. And on another note, at the fair, the outstanding livestock exhibitor, I had the pleasure of judging that with Mickey and Sherry Brennan, and we spent all day. We had 20 kids that applied for that, and it's really impressive when those kids want to talk to you about their animals, their projects, what they've done and what they've learned, and they have more than one animal there. They want to tell you everything, and it's a lot of fun, but boy, we were tired. It was great. So I hope everyone gets to the livestock area next year.
Okay, at the last meeting, I asked Director Kurlick and Rucker to develop house rules for board conduct during a meeting. I don't know that you had a chance or not with Marge.
We did not, and with no ill respect, I have a hard time doing that. I think we're all adults. We abide by the, the Robert's Rule of Order, and I just have a really hard time having Marge and I sit down and try and tell adults how we're supposed to act at a meeting. I don't mean to be disrespectful, and I just...
Well, apparently, it has been observed by members of the public and members attending this meeting that board members are not acting as they should. So I would like you and Marge to continue with this if you would. If not, I'll get somebody else. But it has to be done.
Well, again, with no disrespect, I will sit down with Marge, but I believe that as our leader, that some things need to be done by you, President, regarding some issues that we have. And I don't know that that is to come from Marge and myself as far as rules of order for our meeting. I'm sorry. I will sit down with Marge and we will discuss, but I believe that that's part of the leadership.
Each member of the board should have read the entire manual for the board. They should have read Bagley Key, but apparently some members have not. And so we will adopt rules, one way or another, we'll adopt rules of conduct for this board.
I would like to ask if anybody, I mean, I've got all of that.
It hasn't.
I have Bagley King right here.
And sitting here, I cannot see every board member.
If the book doesn't cover it, then I don't know what would.
Okay. We'll table that for another time.
Dan, I want to address the board. In my professional everyday work, we deal with conflict and discussion. For those that know where I work, you know I work in a very heated environment where people come to us that aren't always happy. I have several trainings that we have available to us that are very good about how to properly and appropriately conduct discussions among people. I would be more than glad to provide that information to you that you may have at your disposal if you felt there was a need, that perhaps some refresher training on how good conduct and good communication and discussion can be beneficial to everyone in bringing all ideas to a table in a very working manner. And I would be happy to work with you and supply you that information. I'll give you my card after the meeting. Thank you.
In the future, we will have a workshop. It probably won't happen until we get a new CEO manager. But we will have a workshop, and that will be one of the items covered.
Damage has been done.
But you can't keep kicking stuff down the road.
If you want to speak, would you please come up here so everyone can hear it, please?
Okay, I've been to several of these meetings, and we'll discuss that next time, or we'll do that again. And we can't keep kicking stuff down the road, Mr. President. Things need to be addressed.
They did not get the item done, so we have to put it to the next
I
meeting.
know, I'm just saying, I hear that a lot, well, you know.
I know,
if there are
I know,
people who don't know
I-
how to comport themselves on a board, they shouldn't be on the board.
Absolutely. The damage has been done. And what just occurred was a very well-spoken response, and your response, not so much. We need action, and maybe that action is tonight. But the damage has been done, and it's discourteous to the rest of us in this community, especially to a new director and to Marge. It should have come from leadership. I was not here at all those meetings, but never in my life have I heard of harassment. And there was only 6 or 7 people in the audience. There's only a big group here tonight because there's been a whole year of issues. But if we ran it like a business, those individuals would have been fired.
We're talking about what you're
It
talking
doesn't
about
matter.
now.
What we're talking about is the best interest of this fair and of this fair.
We're talking about the conduct of the board at this time.
Exactly.
Okay? And you're out of order. You are not talking about the
Actually,
conduct
she
of
has the floor, you're out of order. You're not to respond to her comments.
I was addressing what you had asked the board member to do, which was to revise the conduct. And in my opinion, it is too late. And a side comment was, had that happened, if there was true leadership on this board, it would have never happened, and those people would have been reprimanded, given time to come back and say, I'm sorry, I was out of place. But time and meeting again and again and again, and that those 2 board members are here and on this board, and we have lost Stacy, and our issue is, well, now it's time to do a handbook to say how these board members should act. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Thank you for your comment.
If I may,
Yes.
what I was going to interject before the last 2 speakers was, again, as a new board member coming in, I understand why you had requested that as additional help or support, that being policies, rules, and regulations. I understand where Mickey's coming from too. It's kind of ridiculous for us to come up with something. What we're talking about are issues that we learn from our mommies and daddies in kindergarten. How to get along, how to talk to people. I've said before, I'll say it again, we can all get what we want from anybody if we go about it the right way with dignity and respect and appreciation for what we're asking for. For us to come up with a whole new policy and procedure, we can do that, but then if that's not adhered to because the issue hasn't been addressed, which is mandated with that, then we need to come up with a procedure to follow the procedure, and where does it end? And I do get frustrated in the short time that I've been here when we talk about issues and we have strong personalities and we can't get anywhere, so we table it. And I am, maybe it's by nature, maybe it's my fault, but as a business owner, I have very little patience for things that we can do but don't. I think we need to be very proactive in finding solutions and just getting things done, making decisions, organizing what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, allowing what can be allowed and not allowing what should not be allowed, and just move forward. Okay. Okay, under old business, we have discussion of the 2014 audit recommendation meeting held on July 20th. I'm not sure that this is the appropriate time to do that, since we will do that at the next meeting when we approve the audit report. Okay. Okay, new business. Since Stacy will be leaving on Friday, the board needs to have a discussion of an interim CEO manager for the fairgrounds.
We will discuss it tonight, but I am going to ask, I will form an ad hoc committee to look at options and report to our next meeting, at our next meeting. At this time, though, I want the board to discuss how you think we should be handling this, what type of person we need to find as a interim manager. I know that we need to do this right away, and the fairgrounds will not be closing down for 60 days or whatever anybody has heard as a rumor. Fairgrounds will continue. We have events booked that we need to continue with, and we will do that. So at this time, if there's any member of the board that would like to start and voice their opinion on what kind of person we should look for, how we want to go about it. We will get some advice from CDFA on this. There's only one member of the board that has gone through this before, and she's not here, so she can't help us tonight. So at this time, this is going to be started off as a board discussion, and the public can comment on our discussion at a later time. We don't want the public to run our discussion at this time. You can comment on our discussion, please.
Hold my discussion item.
Okay. Anybody want to start?
I will start.
Mr. President, point of order, question, because
Can you guys speak up?
We are still having trouble hearing, but some people have.
just a point of order, if I may. I'm new to these meetings. I've been around a while, about 4 generations of my family, so I understand the fair. But one thing that I'm a little confused at is, at the last meeting, have you guys already, or excuse me, the board already accepted her resignation?
As Stacy has put it,
The question, just ask the question, because as a board, you have that option to either accept or deny, and I was just curious of whether you've already taken that action. Just a question.
I knew you were asking for someone to start it.
Stacy has not submitted a written resignation. She has in the paper, in the news, in all types of meetings, she has said she is leaving. We are expecting her to either give us a written thing or say she's leaving. Are you leaving?
Excuse me, but that's the point of order. How can you be looking for an interim manager if you have not taken that action? Just a question for the order is all.
Let's do first things first.
At this point, I would like to see if anybody from CDFA could help me out on this. No? Okay.
I think it would be helpful to hear the board's discussion first.
Discussion first? Okay. Assuming Stacy's leaving, we need to have this discussion. Okay. Now, somebody over here said they'd like to start.
Can you speak up, please?
My first day meeting Stacy, brought my oath in, announcing my appointment to this board, and that night Stacy resigned. I was utterly shocked. I mean, you know, I thought, oh gosh, she doesn't even know me and it's me. But, but I am amazed that this board did not fight for her. I don't understand how it's gone 2 months now. We have had no discussion. as the board about what we're going to do. We haven't accepted Stacy's resignation, and yet we're talking about an interim. We have not sat down and talked about the good things that Stacy has done, the contacts she has in this community, the outreach that she has. I am so disappointed with this board, and this is my second board meeting. And I think that we need to sit down and reevaluate ourselves and what we as board members want to do with this fair and fairgrounds. I don't want to look for another CEO. I want to find a way to keep Stacy and to keep her here in this community, promoting this fair and the fairgrounds and promoting us. We are ambassadors. She is the biggest ambassador that we have for this fairgrounds. And I think it's shameful that we are sitting here talking about an interim when, as we just heard from Ms. Gray, that we haven't even accepted a resignation. Last month, she was asked, prior to the meeting hardly even getting going, if she had given us her written resignation. I thought, oh my God, I mean, what a way to start out our meeting. I'm sorry, Mr. President, I thought that was poor judgment, and I do not think that we as a board should be allowing Stacy, not allowing, she can do what she wants, but I think that we need to sit down and generate the good things that she has done and promote her and promote this fairground and promote ourselves and get rid of all the negatives.
Right.
And my comment was, actually, John kind of brought up, segued into what he was saying, you know, what question do we have? As a new board member, along with Mickey, I have many questions about processes and procedures for how we go about doing things here. Again, I serve on other boards, but each board has its own thing, and this is its own animal. And I welcome the challenges here, don't get me wrong at all. But since my first meeting as well, I agree when, we turn in our oath and, we heard about Stacy's resignation. I thought it was her too. But we had no chance really to do what we wanted to do, or to do what we thought that we were appointed to do, was to work with everybody here. So anyways, given that, I continue every day, along with Mickey. We put in, I think, a good amount of time. That's not how I want to be evaluated. How I want to be evaluated, how I evaluate myself, is by what I can accomplish as a board member and what I can get done. And I feel frustrated that I've not been able to get much accomplished and much done. Not that we haven't asked, not that we haven't done anything, because we have to respect the process and the procedures. I've called, I've emailed, I've called the governor's office seeking advice. I've tried to speak on behalf of what we're doing at council meetings. We're trying to be good stewards of the fair. We're trying to be good representatives, good ambassadors. But I haven't even seen what the process is for when a CEO resigns. Do we get it in writing, and then do we accept it, and then and then all these things. What I keep getting told is that we'll work on that. We'll talk about that, and that's fine on Monday the 1st. It's getting old on Tuesday the 2nd, and it's unacceptable on Wednesday the 3rd. For me to just keep doing the same old thing. I too think that having and this is only after learning from being a board member about what Stacy and Michelle and everybody does here, that I too have become quite impressed with the both of them. And the best scenario for me, I think, which is the best scenario for us, is if we could continue our relationship with them in their positions and move forward and get past the issues and how we do things in the past. Again, if you want to do something, if you want to achieve different results, you got to do something different. It's a no-brainer. So we have to do some things differently to get where we want to get to. So that's my point: is, do we even have a resignation? Can it? What's the process? Do we accept it? Can we vote on not accepting it? And most importantly, has anybody, whether it's the governor's office or the fair board or whatever, reached out to Stacy once she put in her notice? I've been involved in nothing as far as now other than we'll talk about it or something will be done. I mean, that seems like a pretty good question to ask. It seems like a pretty important due process, a piece that should be at least given a minute of attention to. you know, do we owe her or anybody in her position that much? You know, should we talk about this? What are the reasons why you're leaving? What can we do? Yeah. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Those are good comments. To try to move on and get back to the subject, I would just advise that since Stacy's resignation was public and acknowledged in the newspaper, on the radio,
By the board.
and the board, she has resigned. We don't have to vote on it, and when we do announce that we're going to hire a new CEO, she's welcome to reapply, and without prejudice, believe me. It'll go. We're going to have members of the public evaluate the applications, and they'll be as big a part of selecting the CEO as we can make it. Okay, so at this time, as I had been advised, there will be no more discussion whether or not we need to vote on Stacy's resignation. Okay.
Okay.
So now we need to discuss how we want to go about the process.
Will you ask for comments about what type of a person we want as an interim CEO? Do you have a twin? Because you are the person that we want as our CEO. And I've asked you to stay almost daily. So, as for what type of person does this fairgrounds need, we need Stacy.
Good.
I'd like to just echo what Mickey, Albert, and Missy said, and I think that the issue that we have and what we can take action on tonight is interim CEO. That's what's on there. If we don't have the option to go back and not accept, that seems like our only option. And so I don't know if we have to have public discussion first, but I will be happy to make the motion to ask Stacy Dodge to serve as the interim CEO manager.
I second that.
I think if there's no more directors, then we go to public.
Could I jump in?
Go ahead.
And you see I have this written out here before.
We're under discussion of the motion,
Oh, well.
unfortunately.
Well, I said I'd be happy to make a motion.
Yeah.
If you want to keep having
Did not-
discussion, I
They did not
can,
make the motion.
I can hold back
She was
and,
asking about the making a motion.
Okay, continue.
I had some notes jotted down before. First, I agree that Stacy announced everything in different places. So my notes are, one, Stacy can reapply when we do the formal announcement. We could look for a Cal Poly intern Cal Poly has a fair management program. They have interns that serve within communities who are in fair management. We can look for a retired annuitant or a fair manager from another fair that is either working part-time in another fair or retired and has run other fairs in the state of California. And I can think of a couple right now. Amador County has two people that, one was the manager of the Amador Fair, one was the manager of the El Dorado Fair. I don't think the husband does it anymore, but I know the wife has run, and correct me if I'm wrong, has run Glen and Colusa county fairs. And it's something that would get us back past in the interim, and I'm sure there are other people. That's my comment.
May I comment?
Well, wait. Let's see if any other members would like to respond to the process. No? Okay.
I would just like to know, from your point of view, and and maybe yours, Jan, because you seem to be the two most wanting her to go. Why? Why do you want her to go? What has she done that is so bad that...
I don't think I'm going to answer that because there's no answer to it, because I don't have an answer to it.
Well,
there you go.
it seems like it has been over and over and over again that you want her to go. You know, when the consensus, it seems like, want her to stay. Why can we not have her stay as an interim CEO, have her help us through the process, or have us try and help ourselves figure out if we can make this all work?
Okay, can I make my motion now? Yes.
Well, wait, let me think about what I might want to say. I believe that since Stacy has stated that she wants to resign, and the reason she stated was because of 2 board members. Unless I'm missing something, I'm not sure, and I'll ask her directly, do you want to stay with the 2 board members and possibly me still on the board?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so that settles that situation, even as interim.
So you're denying the motion?
Have you, as board members, helped me with the problems with those 2? What's that answer?
I have tried. I've tried to be the person to go between, and that didn't work out. You know how that wound up, and unfortunately, I didn't want it to be that way.
But I was then told I was the problem.
But I won't take back anything I said to you.
Okay, so then have you helped me, since you told me that I was the problem?
You,
yes or no?
No is an okay answer.
okay, no, I haven't directly helped you.
So why would I want to stay?
Okay, so your answer is no. You would not stay. And yes, you
I
would
haven't
not
gotten any help
Okay.
from the state or from the board.
Okay.
Why have you not taken direction with the 2 that seem to be the major problem with Stacy? Have you? I do not know. I do not know if you have talked to them, if you have taken a position as our president to speak with the 2 of them to find out individually what their problems are, because we've had no communication about that. It's always been about Stacy's got to go, Stacy's got to go.
Yes, okay, again, I've been advised that's a personnel matter. We will not discuss that at this time. To answer one thing, yes, I have talked to them, but that's as far as it'll go. Okay?
I would still like to make my motion, and the motion is to ask. She has the right to, but I feel as a board that I need to let her know that this isn't our choice. This isn't what I want, and I want to give the opportunity to fellow directors to give that, make that same statement. So I would like to make a motion to ask Stacy Dodge to serve as interim CEO manager.
A second.
Okay, any discussion? There's been a motion and a second to ask Stacy to stay as interim CEO. This time we will vote. No, it's a motion on the...
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
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 4 against. Okay, so no answer, no action can be taken.
Well, if I may just say one more thing on it, that since I joined this, my first meeting was May 20th, I believe, the day when she gave resignation. I'm not happy that I'm part of a board that upon receiving this information, her resignation, did, in my opinion, nothing to mitigate or address something that's serious, even though we knew, I mean, we knew that there was problems, there were issues. A month and a half has gone by, and again, I'm trying to find out, you know.
You're talking about a personnel matter, and we are not going to discuss it.
What I'm talking about is a process and a procedure that this board is lacking. So I hate to say for future reference, because that means, well, we're going to throw her away, but for future reference, I'd like to be I'd like to make sure that we have a process in place so that if this happens again, we at least do our due diligence to the fairness of you know, the process to at least address it.
Excuse me, since Stacy first announced her decision, there has been discussions between myself and CDFA and Western Fairs on how to handle it. At the time, they did not want to get involved with, have the board get involved with it. I had a...
Did they say why?
They didn't want to get involved with it at that time, make it public at that time, okay? I'll put it that way. If I'm misquoting somebody, I can be corrected, but, but I was told...
If I was a board member, I'd be concerned about that comment. Very concerned about that comment.
Well, good. But that is their decision, not mine, okay?
So that's being something that's done about our staff that the board is not being made aware of. Why is that happening? And you not discussing that with even your executive committee is a real problem.
Because I did call you about an executive meeting.
Okay. You can. We will now continue this discussion on interim manager. Is there any way that you guys want to continue?
If I can speak slightly. On this agenda item, it's a discussion item, so even though our motion went through and failed, we can't make a motion because it's listed as a discussion item on the agenda. But you also mentioned your ad hoc committee, so you might want to have your ad hoc committee and appoint 2 members, then those 2 can then discuss, figure out how you want to move forward with the discussion item.
Okay, if we can't continue this discussion, yes, I will.
Even though it says discussion, it can still be...
Yeah, he was, they told us any item on the agenda could be action.
But it specifically says, if you limit yourself by stating it's only a discussion item. Because it says discussion, so you limit yourself at that word.
So we need to take discussion out of it.
This is discussion all the committee reports in the dimension.
Okay.
They just said,
Still an item on the
Okay, that's the opinion of our representative at the Nose Bagley team. I was advised to appoint an ad hoc committee. I may be going against their recommendations, but I'm going to appoint 1 member that's, well, there's going to be a member that is on Stacy's side and 1 against. So, well, there's 4 of us, and 4 of us voted one way, and 4 of us voted the other. So,
March.
There's no decision, she can rescind her resignation because...
no, I think I would like to have Peggy and Mickey.
You know, she gave you the opportunity to come to bat for her, and you wouldn't. You, Dan, you wouldn't come to bat for her. When it came that opportunity...
I have my own reasons.
I bet.
And that's...
and even when it's been stated, there's no reason to vote that way.
Okay. If you want to speak, come in.
Are you going to take some comment?
Are you ready for? Okay.
Come on.
There is something I'd like to comment on. I've only been to a couple of these meetings. I have seen no leadership, with all due respect. You're not running the meeting, you're not following the agendas, you're trying to figure out what to talk about next, you're not prepared. I recommend you step down. You may have all the good intentions for this fair as anybody does, but you're not doing your homework, you're not showing leadership. With all due respect, I suggest that you resign from the presidency of this board, if not from the board. Thank you.
What I find interesting is this board is selected to represent the people, and I'm not seeing the people being represented by most of the board members. So my recommendation is to this board is to make a motion to change your leadership because he's not in control of what's going on and has no clue to what he's doing.
Okay, I've made...
No, there's more comments.
I still want to comment, Dan. I'm ashamed to hear that our state board wouldn't step up and deal with an issue of this. I work for a quasi-state department. Shame, shame. I get called my state agency anytime I need help, and we face many problems in our day. That's why we have a state agency, a governing board to help us, to get us through these tough times. I have been through this board from when Stacy sat there, when Ty Whipple sat there. There was leadership, there was people who ran these meetings. There would have never been tolerated the kind of behavior that we've seen in these boards. I quit coming to these board meetings because of some of the terrible behavior that's going on. It's shameful. And yes, Dan, I'm sorry, I've known you for years. There is no leadership that's driving this. I'm sorry to see Stacy leave. Like I said, I've known her since she sat in your position. We've faced interim in this fair before, where we've had managers that have left. I've worked with a lot of managers that have been here over my years, some better than others, some more into being honest with everybody about what's going on than others. We have a fair manager who has done interim work for this fair board before. Some people may not like him. I will tell you, I'm not his #1 biggest fan. But he knows this fairground, he knows this fair, and if Stacy isn't willing to step back and come on board, he could step in Monday when we fit a brand new month that we're conducting business as an agency and a business of the people of this fairgrounds and run it. Now, I don't know what your interim plans are, and God bless you for wanting to help a Cal Poly student, but I wouldn't wish any student an experience of dealing with this board and the current behavior. I guarantee you their major will be changed before their first week. You need someone who has experience. You need someone who can come in here with leadership, someone who can sit down with this board and isn't intimidated and say, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. If the state can't appoint someone to step in, which I believe would be the #1 best thing, they need to take control of the problems here until this board can be totally balanced with leadership and respectability to what needs to happen for the people of this county and the kids that exhibit here and the community that depends on this for their annual health fair and their community dinners. Forrest White has bailed us out more than once. I think the call needs to be placed to him. If none of you have the decency to have voted to keep an interim manager who at least understood what was going on and could have seen us through the time until we do the debate, the talk about what we want for the future. Business goes on tomorrow. We need someone in that seat who knows the job and can do it. I respectfully say, if Stacy won't be there, I ask this board to respectfully vote to contact Forrest White and bring him back, at least interim, to make this fairgrounds feasibly running as a business in the interim.
To let you know, I actually have tried contacting Forrest because I do know him personally, and hopefully he'll get back to me. In the meantime, we'll hopefully hear from CDFA. But I'd like to, you criticize me an awful lot about leadership, but I would like any of you to try to be a leader on this board. Believe me, I've got different sides.
Dan,
pound in my head.
Dan, I feel in a world where conflict is the
up
either
until,
one.
Stacy has said that she is leaving, she would not stay. That's why I voted no.
She asked you for your help at that point.
So, okay.
Your yes vote might have been a sign of support, but she hasn't gotten on.
That's all she asked for.
If you want to speak, come to the microphone, please. Next. And the discussion is interim manager, not Anything else? That's what we're on right now?
It's very sad that we're still here at this point, and we do have opposing sides. As far as interim manager in that position, I was very appalled at hiring a Cal Poly interim in that situation for what was already said. So I just wanted to point that out and to say that for the board, tonight, the action, or we can't take action, whatever we're doing, it's so pivotal tonight how we proceed from here. And at the end of the day, everybody in this room is here for the right reasons, but we're going about it all wrong. And it's hard to see that the fact that we have so many things. We're all here for the right reasons. So this action of an interim manager, whoever that may be, is pivotal. And the leadership that comes out of where this interim board comes from and this interim director is pivotal. So for me, my eyes are on you as you lead this board into this interim manager and who it is and who they represent. And from this day on, my eyes are on you and on the leadership of your new board members and the action with the new interim manager, whoever that may be.
I just have one statement and one question. It's kind of, the statement is, it's relatively astounding that the day before, the 2 days before, whatever, the CEO is leaving, that you're finally getting around to thinking about what you're going to do about it. And question, are these ad hoc committees going to be open to the public?
It's a two-member ad hoc committee. They do not have to post a agenda, so I don't think it needs to be open to the public.
That was my question. Will they be available to be open to the public? Yes or no is good. That's why they call it leadership dance. I will somehow post a time when, I don't know exactly the medium I will use. I'll give you the time that they want to meet, and Is that a yes?
I will give you the time that they will meet. Okay.
Can we just post it on the website?
If I give you the time, is that a yes?
I'm asking you.
Well, I said I'd give you the time.
So the meetings will be available to the public if any public is stupid enough to want to come.
That's your words.
So is that a yes? I'm still looking for a yes or no.
Okay, directly, yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
I said that I would give you the time. Thank you.
I have a question. I've been listening. So there's an ad hoc committee appointed of 2 people who are going to decide recommendations for how to hire an interim manager, and in the meantime, there is no interim manager, and will there be a vote on how to hire an interim manager at the next board meeting? And then that process starts? I'm looking at the timetable.
We will have to have some kind of a special board meeting. I don't know if that's what we can call it or not, but there will be a time and place that the public can attend and hear the recommendations, and it will happen before the next board meeting.
Okay, so there is not a timetable at this point for hiring an interim. And those of us of the general public that have dealings with the fair office won't know on Monday.
It'll be open Monday. It'll be open Monday, come hell or high water.
Okay.
Those are my terms.
There's still issues tying up, wrapping up what happened at fair.
Yes.
The fair office will be open.
Yes.
There will be someone there.
There will be someone
And
there.
there will be a plan by this board for hiring an interim fair manager. And then, once that happens, a plan for hiring a permanent fair manager. I'm just looking for reassurance
Yes,
that this
there
will
be.
happen.
It will all happen, okay?
And I think the members of the public here will continue to attend meetings to find out what the actual is.
I hope they do. I really hope they do. And I hope
It's very important to
I
all of
hope in the future, these meetings aren't a forum to browbeat the board.
I've never done that.
I don't think you're supposed to respond,
I did
Dad.
not say you, even though I may be deserving of it at times.
I'm going to sit down
but
now because
anyway.
I don't feel that that comment is aimed at me.
No, it isn't to you, it's to the public. Please.
Okay, in situations like this, where a board doesn't have a plan when a CEO is going to be leaving in a short amount of time, other boards take upon themselves, either the board chair or a board member steps up as an interim that will work with staff until either a interim hire is picked or a CEO is then hired. So in this situation, since you do have, she is leaving on Friday, either the chair or a board member could step in as the contact for board staff to keep the day-to-day operations going until you have a paid staff in that position.
I'm not sure what the feelings of the office staff is, if they've agreed to stay or not. I think that if they've agreed... I think at one time, okay, but I'm not sure that if I were to take over as interim CEO until we get one, no, I'll take that back. I will appoint myself as interim CEO if I can do that.
You should.
Can I do that?
It's really just a matter of the staff needs somebody to contact when they don't have the authority to make a decision.
There are people that...
Can I ask a question? Has Mark Curley served in that position before? We have an experienced board member who has served in that position. I would respectfully request that we allow her to do that job since she has the knowledge and has done it. And I'm sorry, Dan. I don't want to be attacking, and I stood here and made a very positive, open statement because I didn't want to go to negatives. We need a neutral party. And I think Marge is as neutral a party to work with the fair staff as there could possibly be right now if the staff is remaining. I beg and plead for someone to please consider asking her to serve as that position.
When is she coming back?
August 3rd, yeah.
What?
August 3rd.
Okay.
I think she would be the most neutral of people who could step in and has the understanding of that position. I am concerned, like was expressed. We do business every day. We have a public we serve every day. I think we need to put our best face forward, and I think Marge can do that in a positive way and be a help to the board and a help to the office.
Okay. If you talk to her,
Yes.
have her call me, please.
Okay.
On Sunday. That's what she
Can we
comes
please
back.
ask the office staff to please stay?
I would really like for them to stay, and all the maintenance workers that are there, they do a great job. Dennis trained very well. If they can work with Marge until, see, the problem is that the maintenance staff can't report to Michelle, or Michelle can't report to them, so they need someone to report to make decisions that they shouldn't be making. So I have no problem with Marge if that's the board wishes, if that's be the interim CEO, acting supervisor, let's put it that way, until we hire a interim CEO. And the comment that was made about having a intern from Cal Poly, that was just a suggestion. That wasn't something that, I asked for suggestions, so somebody made a comment about, what was said there. And, it's a possibility, but like you said, like somebody said, if I was an intern, after hearing this, I don't think I'd want to do it either.
I feel like we need to make something concrete, not just somebody call. So I would like to make a motion to appoint Director Marge McCulloch as the board contact for staff.
Well, my only problem with that is that, first of all, we're making plans for March, she's not here. If she says no, then we go on.
I need to talk to her.
So can we have a plan B perhaps, so we don't have to go on for another month? We'll talk about it next time. Another one of those next time.
I think Dan had a plan. He was going to talk to her, and then if she can't do it, then he's going to do it.
What is that a plan? That hasn't been.
She's not here. She's not here, but other language, she would be liaison with staff until you have an interim. And so, let's go with that language. And so if she's not here, we can't ask her, but if somebody can just be the liaison, currently, one of our board members, until she decides, and then upon that, her deciding, she can do that. But just a liaison until you have an interim. And you can have, he talked about having a special meeting. You can have, per Beverly Keene, you can have a meeting 5 times a month as long as it's posted 10 days in advance. So tomorrow, if we posted an agenda for discussing this and picking an interim, you could have a meeting in 10 days. So we don't have to wait until the end of next month to pick an interim. So we just need a liaison to work with staff if something comes up with, and then we can agendize it, and then the board can pick an interim.
So somebody who's here today.
Yeah, you can't volunteer someone that's not here.
Okay, so also have a special meeting if it's regarding personal matters?
Probably not under these
It won't fit under
circumstances.
Okay.
I mean, if Stacy told you tonight for the first time she's resigning tomorrow, that would prompt an emergency meeting.
Right. Okay.
So I would feel comfortable if we left with a liaison today. Albert, would you be open to doing that job?
I would be open to allowing Dan to continue as he wanted to. Is that what you want to do?
No.
You said you want to be liaison?
No,
No,
I
wait a
was
minute.
asking if, I'm making a motion.
Okay.
No.
I started.
Okay. Well, no, you're asking a question before you make a motion, and you can't do that. You have to, no, okay. If any of the board members that are working feels that they have time to do this, I'd like to know that. I have no idea how much time it's going to take. It could take, all day at times, or it could take an hour.
If I could add, just by default, Dan is the liaison between staff and the board. If a fair manager falls ill, goes in the hospital tonight, automatically, generally the board president becomes that liaison to staff,
Okay.
unless there's somebody on staff who has the authority, in which case you probably don't because your staff size is so small. But just by default, Dan would be the staff contact.
Okay? If that's the case, when I talk to Marge, at this time, I, by default, the liaison. I will talk to Marge and convince her to take it. Okay? So, that's how it's going to stand right now. Marge will be back on Sunday. I will talk to her, and Monday morning, you'll have an answer. Okay? Either she'll be here, or I will, and we'll have a meeting. I'll try to get the notice to Stacy tomorrow, since she will still be here, to have a meeting in 10 days. Okay? So we can discuss this some more.
If I could just add another thing, it's not having a physical presence on site, it's just being available to the staff.
Right.
So Yeah,
no, I don't have to be here.
physically be here.
But I will be here, if March doesn't do it, I will be here on Monday morning to make sure the doors are open. We hope that all staff, will stay, and so we will continue.
Can we
Okay.
make comments on that? I want to express that I'm uncomfortable with that, because I feel like it is your interaction with staff that is the reason we're in this situation, and so I'm not comfortable with you walking in and giving direction. You've done a poor job at that, done it in an angry way, and that's why we're here, so I think you would be the last person I would want to do that job.
They will ask questions of me. I will not sit and give them, tell them what to do. If they have a problem, I'll try to solve it. And I will be very positive in my interaction with the staff. Hopefully, Marge will be here Monday morning.
The other option is for me to do it, but by telephone, because I do have to be physically at work, but I can take telephone calls. So that is an option.
Well, at this time, unless you want to vote me out as president, I will assume that to be right now. Okay? So, like I said, I will be very positive in my interactions with the staff. I have, except for one time, and it seems like it's come back to haunt me, and I'm sorry about that, but hopefully Marge will take it. Okay, we're going to move on.
May I ask one question? A little bit off of when you directed Peggy and I to be on an ad hoc committee.
Yeah, here you.
I'm sorry. My question is that the President appointed Peggy and I to be on an ad hoc committee to look for an interim CEO or for a permanent CEO. My understanding is there are laws in place, correct, that we need to follow. So it's not something that we're going to sit here and battle over and over and over about something that we're going to have some concrete laws from the governor's office on how we're to go about this.
We have paperwork from F&E that we can provide you for this.
Because I don't want to.
And it's in the fair manuals too. It's in the CDFA website.
It's on the website, but we can also send it. It's just fair, active F&E is Fairs and Expositions. We're within CDFA, but we do have a hiring packet that has recommendations on hiring.
Okay. Okay. Item B, finally.
I respectfully appreciate that you're not doing it next year for, again, on behalf of livestock. When you're talking steer breeding, you're talking a year or so out, the date. And we had this happen when we went back to June. So if you want to know what happens when you go to June, go back and look at the records, because we tried June a few years ago and it was a scramble with our animals. So thank you. I just want to put on record that at least a year advance change for those breeding and what has to happen with those animal projects is huge to the livestock community. And I appreciate the board keeping that in mind when you talk about it.
Do you have, with the livestock, do you have specific dates that you would want us to entertain for future versus us coming back and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do and you need to deal with it?
Okay, this discussion
I'm not
will
in
be...
position to answer.
I'm sorry, but, this type of thing needs to be done in a committee meeting and at the future board meeting, since we aren't dealing with it for this coming year.
The public, I'm asking the public.
Well, we're talking about 2017.
My answer will be, I'm not in a position to represent the livestock committee at this point. We do meet again, as Missy said. I will be glad to take that back to my committee. I am the liaison to the board, so I will be glad to take that back to my committee. We will discuss it, and I can come back at the next board meeting and share what our answers are to your question, if that's acceptable to the board.
Well, we have Missy here too,
and we'll work together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. But we're talking about the 2017, and so that'll come up at a future meeting.
Okay, this is a perfect example of why this board is so dysfunctional. In most organizations, private industry or government, staff, management is tasked with the job of doing things. They present policies to the board. They present things like what's the right time to change the fair, because they're the experts. They're the ones that are doing it day in, day out. That's how it is in any organization. Here, the board's deciding everything on the fly during your meetings, and that's why it's been a year since you got your bylaws policy done, or a year since we've got our travel policy, or whatever it is. You've got to rely on staff. I hope the next CEO is given that respect to be tasked with the job and then make a presentation to the board, let the board ask questions and vote on it. It's just mind-boggling. I have been involved with an awful lot of boards. They're not even a close second when it comes to dysfunctionality as far as boards go.
Okay, moving on. Manager's report.
Can you confirm the 2017 date, because you just never said the actual date, sorry.
No, we already said we aren't changing the date.
I'm just trying to confirm the date.
So what is the date?
The same weekend, I don't have.
Second weekend.
It's the same weekend as it has been for several
It
years.
will be the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Stacy?
Thank you. I don't want to read it.
So I have a few things to hand out, and I think that's probably, I was going to kind of go through them, but it's really disheartening to hear the things that I've heard tonight.
Can't hear you, I'm sorry.
I'll start yelling.
Thank you.
Sit closer, Dick. So, first of all, I want to thank those that are here tonight for your support and your friendship. But most importantly, I want to thank you for realizing the problems that we've had here at the fairgrounds. I looked up the word problem just to make sure that we are experiencing, or what we are experiencing is a problem. And so what I found under the word problem was a question raised for something to be done, a source of distress or vexation. So with that definition, I had to look up the word vexation. And then this is what I found. The act of harassing, a cause of trouble, to upset, to anger, to bother, to aggravate and distress. These words describe the environment in which my office staff and I have had to work. These definitions couldn't be more appropriate. The state and leadership here have turned their noses up to us and have been ignored by phone calls, letters, and a plea asking the board for help. And what I was told was, deal with it. This is now why you guys are here, sitting out in the audience. You've heard about the harassing remarks, their threats, their constant criticism, their repetitive negative remarks, up to the point that now you are asking for change. This is a public board. This is your board sitting up here, and now you aren't being heard either. I hope you're as mad as I am. If you're not, maybe what I have to say next will tick you off. I verbally resigned on May 24th, and right after that date, the state hired Brian May, just sitting here tonight, to come in and evaluate the fair. He's spoken with all the board members. He's talked with me twice on the phone and through emails. And apparently Brian is getting to look at our financials and figuring out what's best for the Mother Lode Fairgrounds and the next manager. I'm not really sure what his outcome will be for the board. But since May 24th, members of the board have asked our president, what should we be doing right now? Flying an ad in the paper for Stacy's job? Have a closed session to discuss? What should we do? And I've been told that President Brown's response is, well, let's just wait and see what Brian comes up with. Here's the kicker. I resigned 64 days ago, and not one person, not one, has talked with Michelle, our office manager, Kathy, our office clerk, Dennis in maintenance, even to ask if they're going to stay. And what's to make sure that they won't leave too? There's no security. Michelle and Kathy and Dennis, the whole staff, they deserve better than this. And this is what they're getting. Shame on this board, shame on the state. How do you think they feel right now? How offended would you feel? I'm telling all of you right now, you don't deserve them. I resigned due to the lack of any kind of action taken from Jan Costa and Peggy Lee's slanderous and bullying behavior. I resigned due to the fact that when there's something incredibly wrong with the system, that I can't fix it. As my time draws down here at the fairgrounds, I continue to be amazed at the lack of respect and interest our state agency and certain members of the Fair Board have given to this sickening and miserable situation. I've given my heart to the fairgrounds, and I truly pray for its success. I also pray that those board members, whom I do respect, maintain your resolve to finish the job. And as to what's going to happen in the office next Monday, I suppose there could be a plan, and I'm not privy to it. And I really hope that's the case. But after listening to the discussion tonight, there is no plan. So if there's no plan, this is your community fairgrounds. You guys deserve better. So I'm going to miss you guys. So thank you. I have reports that I'll pass out, and from the fair, sponsorships, our grounds admissions. We've done exceptionally well this year. Our numbers are up. Our expenses that we budgeted are level with what we budgeted. We did a data analysis report that I'll leave for the board president. Our new website now has an overview that the next person can come in, and when they learn how to work the new website that we have, it shows how many users and where they're going to on our website, gives you percentages to see where they're going regularly. I also sit on the CFA board, so you guys are going to have to find a new representative to do that. So I wish you all well.
Okay, thank you. Matters of information, Friends of the Mother Lode Fairgrounds. Anybody here? Any? Director's comments.
Just so all of you know, I had a broken foot during the fair. I had a broken foot since May. It's now I can wear a shoe for 3 hours a day, so I have shoes on tonight. But I did participate in the auction. And Ron, you've known me, I've known you since you were that high. And if you know the name of the company, you would have known that we bought.
I knew who it was.
Okay, we bought at the auction, and just so you know, we bought at the auction this year, but I couldn't attend the auction because I had a broken foot. And most of the board members know I could hardly get up to the Little House on Friday night. And we have been sponsors of the fair before, so I have been active in the fair. And I was active years ago when my daughter was in 4-H, as you know. And I'm glad everybody's here tonight. I hope you will continue to come. I hope if we have an ad hoc committee meeting, you'll come to it.
Oh, yeah.
Good. I think you'll find it interesting.
I think I will.
Nothing, Jan?
No.
Tom?
I think we all need to move on. Get a fresh start.
Well, I could probably go on for an hour, but I won't. I just want to wish you the best. I want it to be on record that I am asking the staff to stay. I think you guys have done a tremendous job. I hear nothing but good from people that are sitting here in the audience, the community. Their connection with you guys has been amazing. My connection with you has been amazing. I don't want you to go. And I hope that at some point in time, and I think that if Marge was here, the motion that was made would have gone a totally different direction. And it saddens me that we're going to stick with what happened tonight. I think it's shameful. Absolutely shameful that we're letting you go. So I just want that to be on record, that I think that this community needs to stick with this and hopefully help us to either keep Stacy, get her to reapply when the time comes, or to step up and help us find somebody that, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be able to fill her shoes, but hopefully if she decides not to come back, that we can move forward and bring something positive to this community and to this fair board again, or to the fairground. So good luck to you.
I think that we, what I would basically just address these comments to the board, us, that if we are going to do anything, or with anything, any resources are provided to us, like, you know, Brian May's going to help us out as a consultant, you know, we can use all that valuable stuff, things we need right now. But at the end of the day, our problems are caused by us as a board. And if we're going to come out of this, and if we're going to fix anything really, we need to fix the things that we're doing wrong, and we have to identify those, accept them, and deal with them, and then do things differently. We can't continue whether it's asking questions as a board member, continue asking. When you don't get the answers, ask and ask until you get them. Don't settle, don't accept what should not be unacceptable. Whether it's a leadership problem, a plan problem, time and commitment, whatever it is, we need to do all we need to do. I'm not saying all we can do, but we need to do all that needs to be done individually and then as a group. Otherwise, whatever the fair board comes up with will just be a Band-Aid, because we're still going to be, well, I don't want to say the bad word, but we're still going to be who we are, and we have to change. And that starts with us just looking at the person in the mirror, accepting it, and agreeing to do what we have to do differently.
I accept all the criticism that you've thrown my way. I don't know that I rightfully deserve all of it, but I will accept it. I encourage all of you to come back to meetings, come to our our committee meetings, and we'll let you know when the ad hoc committee is going to meet. I'm going to try to schedule a board meeting on August 8th. I have to check with the board members to see if they're available. It's some work. I'm going to try to make it at 5:30. I'll get that information to get it posted. And as far as, no, I'm not going to go into that. So please continue attending our meetings. We welcome your criticism. We will work with the new manager. We'll work with the interim manager. Like I said, I've tried to get Boris to agree. He was manager when my wife was on the board years ago. He's been here a couple times. So he does know the fairgrounds, he does know what has to be done to keep it going.
The board should know that you're going in that direction. Do they know that you called? No. That's the first I heard of it. No, you have.
So I have a call into him. I have not called
No,
him.
I know, but
Okay,
I mean, today.
it's my turn to talk, okay? This will be part of, I'll let the ad hoc committee know what he says, and that can be part of your discussion. Hopefully August 8th, we'll meet here, and we'll have a direction that we're going for the interim manager. Okay? Missy?
Well, I want to do something a little happier. Recently, we had our longtime maintenance manager retire, and this wasn't available when his luncheon came around. Dennis, this is for you.
Hey Dennis, that one doesn't take any work either. You can't use that.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And I just want to say, again, I'm very happy to see everyone here, and when this board gets back on track, I hope that you continue to come to our meetings. That's, not just when we're having issues, it needs to be all the time. We need your public input.
I'm really sad about the way this meeting's gone. And I really hope that this is our low and that things are going to get better from here. I am so grateful for our staff. I think I already knew they were awesome, but being here all those days at Fair Time just solidified how amazing Michelle, Kathy, Dennis, Bobby, and Stacy are. They are so respected. All the vendors, people that they work with are treated with kindness. And we are very, very fortunate to have them, and any one of them leaving would be a tremendous loss. And I want to especially thank Peter Jolito, for his comments. That is exactly what we need. That Exhibit and Entertainment Committee met today, and just almost everything that was on his list were things that we found too. And so to have that public response of what we need to change is exactly what we need. And I would just ask, keep them coming, keep that feedback coming.
Okay. Future agenda items.
Continue to schedule a committee meeting, a meeting, public meeting of concerns and strategic plan and where we're going. We've talked about that several times, and I think we need to schedule it.
Okay.
Or put on the agenda, schedule meeting. So you can come up with a date.
Okay.
Is this different than what it does today?
Same one?
The first one is, well, you got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Tom, did you have future agenda items? Safety.
We're going to be working on that.
Yeah, the safety one.
Okay.
But that would be in his committee.
Well,
hopefully we'll have something.
Hopefully he'll have something. Unfortunately, we have to, our committee meetings happen after the 10-day period. So if there's nothing, we'll have to drop it. Hopefully they have something. Vicki, was there a future agenda item?
No, I just hope that maybe next month we can get somebody from Friends of the Mother Lode Fairgrounds to make sure that they're here. I think that we're letting a really good source of ambassadorship go by the wayside. I've been to numerous fairs that their Friends of their fairgrounds have been a tremendous asset, and I think that we need to try and promote.
Well, normally there's somebody here, but...
I'm just saying, to reach out to them and tell them that we really respect what they do and like them to continue.
Yeah. Okay. Albert, agenda item, Misty?
No.
Meredith? Okay. Our next board meeting will be Wednesday, August 24th, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. We will have a finance committee meeting at 4:30 before the board meeting. All the board members will be there, I hope, and it's going to be, the agenda will be posted, so definitely the public's invited to find out about our finances if you wish.
May I ask, is this going to be, just so that the public knows that this is going to be a standard?
It's going to be the standard. We will not have a finance committee meeting on the same day as other committee meetings. And from now on, we're going to have it an hour before, unless we find out that we need an hour and a half, but we'll have an hour before the board meeting from now on until, you know, some other board wants to change it. But we all thought it was a good idea. It's an opportunity for you to sit in. We're making it easier for you to come to a committee meeting. So it'll be probably the committee meeting will probably be held here. If not, we'll have it posted over there where it is, or have it posted on the door. If it isn't here, it'll be in the office. Okay, we have nothing for closed session. So at this time, I would like to see if there's a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Vote?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The vote is affirmative.